Hello, everyone, and welcome to the weekly patch notes from X to Skip, episode 127. I will be your host for today, Kojo. Tammy couldn't be with us this week, but he will be with us next week. With me, as always, is Maxwell. Maxwell, how are you doing?
Sad.
I feel you, man. So yeah, that's the both of us. As always, don't forget to just drop us a subscribe, follow, like, you know, whatever, whatever you like to do. Help us, support the channel, get it to more ears. And yeah, before we get on to the good stuff, any announcements or admin?
Mm, I don't think so.
Okay, nothing from me either. So let us then move on to the gaming news. Maxwell, what's been happening?
Not much lately, but one thing that has happened is guess who's coming back to the Olympics?
Justin Gatlin.
My guy, we are talking gaming.
Oh, you said Olympics.
Yes. So, what game or what character is associated with the Olympics?
Cristiano Ronaldo? Oh, Sonic?
Yes.
Good for him.
Ding, ding, ding. Sonic, or rather Sega, has agreed a multi-year deal with the Olympics to bring back some Sonic games. However, this does not include Mario, so Sonic and Mario at the Olympics won't be happening, but Sonic himself will be there. So, next coming Olympics, expect there to be a Sonic game for those who enjoyed those type of games. Then, moving on. So, normally I would not bring this up because one, it's a rumor. Two, the game just won't be happening at all. But I thought it was an interesting premise because it's doing the rounds on ye old Twitter. You heard about Ubisoft canceling a certain game, Kojo?
Nope.
So recently it's doing the rounds that there was a Assassin's Creed game Ubisoft cancelled. Guess what the setting was supposedly going to be?
Africa. Other than Egypt.
No, fair enough, but it was going to be a post-Civil War Assassin's Creed where the main character was going to be a black guy who, and the main antagonist were going to be the KKK. That was the pitch for the next Assassin's Creed, and it was greenlit until, guess what got the execs at Ubisoft scared? That they backtracked and cancelled it. So, allegedly.
Current world events that I don't want to mention. I don't know. I'm guessing.
Yes, you've got half of it correct. So it was two things. The current political climate in America, they were scared people would get offended in America. That was the first one. The second one was the backlash against Yusuke for the Assassin's Creed in Japan. So naturally, this has gotten mixed. Okay, well, let me not call it mixed reaction. I would say majority of the reactions were negative of people being upset with Ubisoft. But the reason why they're all upset is where it's relatively mixed. And I mean in the sense of everyone or most people wanted this game. But each one is latching on to a different reason of why Ubisoft chickened out. Some people talking about the political climate in America, other people talking about how Ubisoft don't know how to judge a situation. Rather, like the backlash against Yusuke was because you've got a black guy in Japan, whereas a black guy in America historically makes sense, la di da. Then other people like, yeah, but Yusuke was a real person, blah di da. So it got on into all of that. Generally, though, seems to be people wanted this game, but the political nature and the backlash is where people differ on the spectrum. And honestly, I'm not going to blame Ubisoft because gamers are so soft skinned that I genuinely agree that the current political nature would have triggered people. So I'm not going to blame Ubisoft. I get where they're coming from, even if it is a cowardly move or whatever, because people are pointing out things like Red Dead Redemption has you can hunt down KKK and that people were pointing out Wolfenstein, you can hunt down Nazis, all of these different things. But nah, I get where Ubisoft's come from. Even if they're just trying to protect that bottom line, protect the money, gamers are thin-skinned babies, frankly speaking. Yeah, that's about it. I could get into the ghost of Yotai sales and whatnot and the rumors surrounding that, but that's still marinating, so I'll let that be. Maybe next week or in a couple of weeks, we'll have a clearer picture on what's going on with that. So I don't want to be doom announcing or feeding unnecessary rumors before there's validation to the situation. So that's it from my side. Anything you want to add?
Uh, uh, I guess I'll just comment on what you said about the Assassin's Creed thing. The first one, the first reason I understand, obviously, political climate. I mean, that one makes complete sense. The second reason I don't buy, because, like you said, the Yasuke backlash made sense to some extent. I understand why people are upset, but the reason you gave of, you know, Ubisoft was scared after the backlash of Yasuke, I don't think that was a reason enough to. I don't buy that reason. I buy the first one, but not, you know, they're
Yeah,
saying a black person in Civil War post America is going to cause backlash. I mean, really, like,
especially given Ubisoft is French.
so yeah, that I don't buy. But moving on to, I wasn't gonna bring it up because I forgot. But you mentioned Assassin's Creed, and I saw something recently. Um, well, today. Well, I saw something as of the day of recording this podcast. Ubisoft is bringing new updates to Assassin's Creed Mirage, which came out 2 years ago. So they are bringing out an expansion, which is going to bring reliable missions. I say reliable, replayable missions and challenges, parkour updates, new skill and tools customization, new difficulty levels, more. And obviously, it's a story expansion, so it comes with a new region and a new map, and new content, main quest, new assassination targets, side quests, contracts, and more. And it comes out on November the 18th. And guess what, Maxwell?
But
In an interesting move for Ubisoft, this expansion is going to be completely free. So,
I
shout
thought
out
they've always
to,
had free expansion.
not really, the recent AC Shadows expansion was paid, to my knowledge. And the Star Wars expansions paid. So, to my knowledge, an expansion of this size, like if it's something free, there would be like costumes and stuff like that. But like a whole expansion with a story and a new area, I think they'd usually pay for that or charge for that. But I could be wrong. But I don't really keep in touch with Ubisoft and their. I mean, we all know Ubisoft and their monetization is, crazy.
Yeah,
But
that's where I thought it would be going hard on. Pause.
But yeah, that is it for my news, pretty much. Okay, swiftly moving on to the gaming corner then. Let's just go over the releases of the week. First up, we've got a game called King of Meat, PC, PS5, Xbox Series, and Nintendo Switch, October 7th. For the other platforms, Nintendo Switch is coming out in 2026. It's a party platformer game, currently sitting at a 70 on Metacritic. Next up, we have a game called Blood of Moran, PC, PS5, Xbox Series, action adventure game, October 7th, 2025, currently sitting at a 45 on Metacritic. Then we have a game called Finding Paradise, PS5, Xbox Series, Xbox One, adventure game, October 8th, 2025, currently sitting at an 81 on Metacritic. Then we have Lost Eidolons, Veil of the Witch, PC, PS5, Xbox Series, Nintendo Switch, strategy RPG, October 9th, 2025, currently sitting at a 75 on Metacritic. Next up, we have a game called By Sweet Carol, PC, PS5, Xbox Series, Nintendo Switch, horror adventure game, October 9th, 2025, currently sitting at a 68 on Metacritic. Then we have a game called Absalom, PC, PS5, PS4, Nintendo Switch. It's a beat 'em up, October 9th, 2025, currently sitting at an 86 on Metacritic. Then we have a game called Pixel Junk Eden 2, PC, PS5, PS4, platformer, October 10th, currently sitting at a 78 on Metacritic. Then we have Little Nightmares 3, PC, PS5, PS4, Xbox Series, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch 2, and Nintendo Switch. It's a horror adventure game, the third installment of the Little Nightmares franchise, October 10th, 2025. What do you think its Metacritic score is, Maxwell?
Of?
Little Nightmares 3. Focus.
Wow, what? When the... I thought that thing was far away from releasing.
Well, you thought wrong.
I'll give it an 80.
Okay, 80. Tammy, what do you think? Okay, Tammy, seeing as Tammy is not saying anything. I joke. It's currently sitting at a 73. Which is
damn, that's
incredibly
even lower than
I expected. Yeah, for a Little Nightmares game, it is much lower than what I expected.
Given it's number 3, I would have expected them to have the formula down pat, where they're like, okay, we know what we did with 1, we know what we did with 2. So, what was the score of 1 and 2?
As far as this game is, I don't know if the second one was co-op, but this one is co-op. But I don't know if the second one was. I know the second one had 2 characters. But anyway, to state Max curiosity, let's go find it. Let's go find them all.
I'm assuming number 1 probably was 86. Number 2 was probably 81.
Let's see. You are completely wrong in both of those. Wait, say that again?
86 and 81.
86 for the first one and 81 for the second.
Yeah.
You're close for one of them, you're off for the other one. So, the first game is a 78. And the second one is an 82. Which is interesting.
It doesn't surprise me too much. Yeah, I would have thought it would be the other way around. First game is higher scored, the second game is a little lower. But high 70s, low 80s is where I'd expect Little Nightmares to be, not low 70s.
Yep, same. I don't know. Didn't really look into the discourse about why it's that low, but it is shocking. a little to me.
maybe maybe it's because barely any people knew it was coming out, so the people who did play it weren't really fans. Because the only thing I saw of Little Nightmares was there's this gaming couple who put up a clip of themselves playing the demo, and I was like, and I saw this I think a month ago, and I was like, when the F did this game even release a demo? Like, all I remember about this game was number three being announced at a showcase. I don't know if it was PlayStation or game show or whatever, or even end of the year game awards, whatever. I just know it was shown somewhere. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And that's the last I saw of it. Then I'm seeing a couple playing a demo. I'm like, the fuck? When the hell did this happen? And now you're telling me it's released, and I'm like, the double fuck? Which reminds me, there's also a game coming out. I think it's a Microsoft game coming out later this month or something, where people are like reminded that there's little to no advertising going on for this IP, which is supposedly supposed to be a very popular IP. Is Outer Wilds 2 out already? Yes, right?
Outer Worlds,
Worlds, yes. Is Outer Worlds 2 out? It
not
was
that I know
released,
of.
right? Or it has?
Not that
Okay,
I
then
know
it
of.
might be Outer Worlds. Because there's a game supposed to release at the end of October, which is supposed to be a big game, but there's very little marketing on it. And I saw on Twitter people being upset, being like, reminder, this game is meant to come out end of this month, and we've had no marketing. And I'm gonna guess it's Outer Worlds 2.
Mm. Yeah,
But
I mean,
you
they
say
did.
what you need to
Yeah.
say. I'm just gonna quickly verify it out.
Okay. No, I was just gonna, if it is, okay, I'll wait for you to. But going back to Little Nightmares, yeah, it is surprising. 73. That is that is quite low. Um, Worryingly low. I don't know if this is the last. I mean, score notwithstanding, whether they take into account the score or not. I don't know if they said this is going to be the last Little Nightmares game. I don't know if they had plans before the score, but I hope if they do have plans, or if they did have plans for more, I hope the score doesn't discourage them and say, or the publisher to say, "Hey, the last one didn't go well, so no more Little Nightmares. Let's do something else." That would really be.
Me, I'm on the other side of that spectrum. I hope it means they're done, because I just like it when companies do something and they say, okay, we've done what we wanted to do with this, let's move on. Like, it's one thing to maintain a gaming style, like how a lot of companies do this. Even the biggest companies do maintain gaming styles. So I'm not going to hate on a company for making games that are similar to past games and just reiterating or reinventing how exactly the game works. But what I will blame companies for is hanging on to one game for too long. And also, yes, Outer Worlds is 2 is supposed to release at the end of this month. And people are suspecting it'll get delayed because there's been little to no words for it. The last time was them giving that $80 price tag, then backtracking, and then that's it.
If it does get delayed, it'll be a very, because the game comes out this month. It'll be a very, very late delay. So I am inclined to think
True.
it is going to come out.
But then also, like, why, for a game which was being picked up so much previously before the bad press, why all of a sudden does the radio silence on it?
I mean, I
Especially,
think. Mhm.
this month is ending in 3 weeks. This is usually when you ramp up advertising for a game in the build up to its release.
watch, a trailer will appear right after we record this episode. No, not after we, but like shortly after the recording of this episode, the trailer will show up. But I don't know, maybe
I
Microsoft's just too
expect
busy
that.
putting out fires to focus on this game.
I, I I expect the trailer will come out, no doubt about it. But then, like, if we compare, okay, I'm not gonna compare it to Ghost of Yotei because that was a big game for Sony. But what was the previous Sony game where at least, or not even Sony, just the previous game with another company where you could at least see that putting in effort trying to get people and eyes on their on the upcoming release, whereas Outer Worlds just feels like it's like that they're treating it very much like an indie. And if I was part of the devs of Outer World, I'll be pissed right now because I'll be thinking, yo, when we were solo or not under a big corpo, we put out better press for our game than this.
I mean, true, but I don't know. Maybe I don't want to blame the devs as well. And what I'm about to say probably makes no sense. It has nothing to do with anything whatsoever. But I mean, this studio is putting out 3 games in 1 year, dude. Like, not a publisher, a developer. 3 games in 1 year. I think maybe people are just
No, no,
low key tired of them.
okay. I thought you were going to use it as to talk about the games, and I'm like, because I was gonna say I can understand making 3 games affects the quality of the game, but should it affect the marketing of it?
No, not necessarily marketing, but like, okay, I mean, the games are vastly different from each other, so I'm not really fatigued, but I don't know. I feel like because it's the second one, maybe Microsoft is like, okay, there was word about the first one, so maybe we don't need to push too much, you know. Like, unlike a
Yeah,
game like Avowed, where they pushed Avowed because Avowed was like, um,
bruh. And
you know,
Avowed, I don't understand why they pushed Avowed so hard. Where I'm like, to me, it makes more sense for Avowed to be a niche hit and then Outer Worlds to be the one which they're pushing more because Outer Worlds they know there's a fan base, whereas Avowed is a risk. Although I guess at the same time, with these things like arguments can be made for either side. On the one hand, you can say Avowed needs more marketing because it doesn't have a fan base, so it needs to reach a wider
mm-hmm,
audience.
mm-hmm.
And so yeah, with Outer Wilds, it does, so the marketing doesn't have to be extreme. But at the same time, you could also say the opposite, or they need to lower their risks with Avowed. Don't put in too much marketing because they might not recover that money. Whereas with Outer Worlds, they can go more buck wild because they know a fan base already exists, and so that is already an install base, and then they just need to reach a wider audience to expand the base. So yeah, both arguments could be made. So I guess there's no value in trying to make one. Might as well just see how this game sells and how it's received. I'm suspecting it's going to be like a what you might call it situation. Um, the image is right in my head, but the title is eluding me. What's that game which is by EA, which is by Respawn, and it always Titanfall? That's the one. Yeah, it feels like this is a Titanfall situation where it's getting forgotten on the wayside.
What, Outer Worlds too? No, I think it'll. I don't know. Like, maybe look, we saw the whole thing of the websites for canceling Game Pass crashing. We all saw that people were canceling en masse. But to be honest, who knows how many people are still left on that platform? And this game is a day one game for Ultimate subscribers. So I'm
You,
sure
you know
people will
what's the
still play.
craziest? You know what's the craziest thing I learned about Game Pass, especially Ultimate? That to me makes no sense.
Uh huh.
if you get an annual subscription, you don't get any discounts.
I see.
So because somebody put up the prices of the Nintendo thing versus PlayStation thing versus Game Passes thing, putting up all the annual prices, whereas like Nintendo, you pay something like, let's see, something along the lines of $80 or something like that at the end of a year, something close to that number. PlayStation is like $180, somewhere around there. Then Xbox is $360 with no annual plans to decrease it to like $240 or something like that. When I saw that, I was like, that is insane. So whether you're paying per month or paying for the entire year, you're just going to be paying the same exact thing. So I'm like, yeah, there's no reason to pay for the entire year, then just pay per month. Where if I was in that situation, I would pay for 1 month, skip the next, pay for the next month, skip the next, so that I'm paying for 6 months at the end of the day. And I think the best thing about 6 months is I would imagine certain games are not just going to be there for 1 month. So on the second month, I'll be getting the back end of some of the games which will be going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I hear you.
Yeah, so that's crazy, especially because annual plans are 101 type of marketing.
Yeah,
It's
Game
intended
Pass.
to also soften the blow of long-term commitment.
True. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see with Outer Worlds too. But anyway, let's get back to that was quite the tangent. Let's get back to releases. So the second last one I have is a game called Dreams of Another, PC, PS5, exploration action game, October 10th, 2025, currently sitting at a 61 on Metacritic. And lastly, one of the big ones of the year, of course, I'm talking about Battlefield 6, PC, PS5, Xbox Series. It's a tactical shooter, or it's an FPS game. October 10th, 2025. What do you think its Metacritic score is, Maxwell?
Yeah, this one I should know because I accidentally stumbled upon it. 83.
Okay, it's sitting at an 84.
Oh.
Which Battlefield looks like it is back after 2042, the nightmare that was 2042. So huge congratulations to the 4 studios. I don't know why I said it like that, but yeah, I think it was 4 studios that were working on this one Battlefield game. Congratulations to them. They really needed Battlefield needed a win, and I think they've got a win here. So congratulations to them.
Oh. What's that? The Star Wars. What was it called? Star Wars RG or whatever chant. The power of one, the power of two, the power of many.
What are you on about?
What's that Star Wars thing that came out from Disney, which people hated on because it's like it was twisting Star Wars lore and stuff like that, whereas like they're introducing witches or some shit like that.
I'm not sure. Maybe you're referring to. Tommy actually liked that show.
I think it starts with an A.
Oh yes, the Acolyte.
That's the one. Yes.
Yeah.
So you never watched? Oh well, no, you didn't. You've
Nope.
given up on the Star Wars show.
Yeah,
So there's some chant they do on it where a group of witches or some shit like that, but are like the power of something, the power of something, the power of many. So people were mocking that chant. So when you said 4 studios, I'm like, look at that. 4 studios together can get you an 83.
84.
Yes.
But yeah, I did hear something about those witches, and you're right. People were low key upset. Not low key. People were upset about that. But again, yeah, yeah. I left that kind of stuff way behind me.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah,
You,
that
you
is.
should a random fact. You should just watch it because from what I saw, people who are not typical Star Wars fans loved it, whereas those who are Star Wars fans hated it.
Mm. Yeah, anything to do that messes up lore to Star Wars fans, or well, not just Star Wars fans, but even Lord of the Rings fans as well. Anything that messes with lore, they're not fans of. But yeah, anyway, that's it for my releases and the gaming corner. What about you, Maxwell?
No, don't have anything, but I did remember the thing I wanted to mention.
Mm-hmm.
But it is once again, it's what do you call it? Uh, Section stuff for the beginning, so the moment has passed.
Okay. All right. So then let's go on to the halfway point of the show. We've reached it. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're still with the floor of the show, thank you for sticking with us. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. Now let's continue with the content creator news, which is where I wish Tommy was here, because that way he would talk about these things that I just can't be bothered to talk about. But I'll take one for the team. Uh,
Fuck the
so
team.
nigga, you're part of the team.
Yeah, and I'm very much orientated on the thought process of, does this interest me? Yes, it does. I'll share it with people. Does this interest me? No, it doesn't. Fuck it.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the people, like, I'll do that. Like, I was going to, like, the first one I'm going to talk about, I was thinking of not talking about it, but I was like, let me just talk about it anyway. So the first thing I'm going to talk about, Maxwell, you are nowadays more on Twitter than I am, but you're probably not on the content creation side of Twitter. So maybe you didn't see this, but it's we're referring to, nope. So that's not the one. It's
Oh
concerning.
no, I'm gonna take a guess and say I haven't seen it because Twitter has been pissing me the F off lately,
Okay,
and I've been trying to reduce my usage of it.
good. Anyway, so yeah, so the first one I want to talk about is everybody's favorite political content creator, Hasan. Now, Hasan has found himself in a bit of hot water because in one of his streams, people pointed out that what he did looked like he did something, and what he looked like was he shocked his dog with a shock collar, because the dog got up from its perch. He was ranting about something, I don't know, America or something. And the dog got up from its perch, and then he was like, "Oh my God, Kyle, can you not, whatever, whatever." And then he reached off camera. You can see him reach for something, and then the dog yelped and then went back to its perch or something. So a lot of people were like, "Oh my God, it's a shock collar." So everybody and their cousin dog piled, pun not intended, on him, on social media, to my understanding. On YouTube, I just saw a bunch of YouTube videos pop up from content creators like Asman, excuse me, XQC, and a bunch of other people who were analyzing this whole situation, calling Hasan out. And then Hasan, in the video and on stream, went out and he addressed it, saying it's not a shock collar, it's a collar, it has an air tag, it does vibrate, but it's not a shock collar. But he addressed this a day later. And people obviously are not really, some people, obviously people are on the side, or he has a huge fan base, so people will be on his side. From what I understand, people are defending him, and then other people are like, first of all, you addressed this a day later, you could have addressed this on the stream there and then when people were calling it out, but you addressed it a day later. You could have swapped out the collar. Even Moist Critical made a video on it. Even he said, out of the loop on content creator drama. He hasn't really talked about content creator drama much, but his chat made him aware of that situation and some other stuff that I'll get into. But yeah, with the Hasan stuff, I don't know, man. Content creator, like, if he is using a shock collar on the dog, yeah, that is low-key messed up. But it's one person against, one side of the internet against another side of the internet. People will always be divided. Did he really do it? Did he really not? We will never know. But, you had internet detectives, who have analyzed the footage and, looked at the thing on the dog and then seen, like, no, it's actually a shock collar. And, it's all a bunch of, anyway. So you guys can go check out the footage. Was it a shock collar? Was it not? Is the sound in the right? Is the sound in the wrong? Let us know. And then the second bit of news is Maxwell. You don't watch live streams, right? But you have heard of some ridiculous things that have happened on people's live streams and some ridiculous content that people have done. Sometimes, maybe.
I don't know about that.
Okay.
Maybe I've heard of him and I didn't realize it was on a live stream.
Probably. But you've seen your Johnny Somalis do stupid things, for content, whatever.
Yeah.
This next one, I don't know if it was
gremlins.
Right. This next one was interesting though. So I don't know about you, but this is the first time I heard of, and then I went to look at the stream before the podcast airing of the podcast, and I watched the relevant parts. So a streamer called Fandy, gaming content creator called Fandy, has gone viral, and you will never, Maxwell, you will never guess why. You will never I'll give you 3 guesses, but you will never guess, ever.
Like, give me clues if I'll never guess.
I don't even know. I don't even know how to give clues to this.
Is this the person who was doing a live birth?
That is the person, yes. So you see, things, Maxwell.
I just see random ass Twitter things, and then I look at the post. I'm like, why is this news? That's all that happens. I saw the Hasan thing. I'm like, why is this news? I saw the live birthing. I'm like, who cares?
Well, a lot of people, because it hits. I forgot. The stream garnered 50,000 views. Wow. But it's not the first birth streamed on Twitch. But anyway.
People without lives.
Hey man, people want to be there to support. Okay, yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. But anyway, yes. So a streamer, as Maxwell said, called Fandy, gave birth live on Twitch. They didn't show the, like they showed it, but they didn't show it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I would hope not.
So she gave birth. It was a home birth. She gave birth in a pool of, I think it was a kiddie pool or hot tub, or no, those inflatable pool. I think from where I was sitting, I couldn't see. They sort of like cordoned it off, so you couldn't really see much. But she did give birth. The baby is healthy. Everybody is happy. But people are not split. But some people are like, was this for content? What was the point of this?
I mean, what other thing would it be for but for content?
Boredom. But
boredom is when you don't have a fan base or a follow base where you're just like, I know only 2 people are gonna watch this, but hey, I still want to do it because I want to do it. But content is, we know we're gonna have our usual, and maybe we'll reach a wider audience, so let's give it a try. We have nothing to lose.
You know what? That doesn't. You know what? You do make a compelling point for the whole content angle. So she, to my knowledge, let me find the actual thing here. I think she did come out and say it was not for money. Let me see what she said here. She said that the choice to stream it was personal and not for profit. Um, she
If you
said,
donate the money to charity or some shit like that, I'll be closer to believing her. Because at the end of the day, even if it's not for money, there's still ways you can monetize it in the future. Maybe it gives you, you can use some type of sponsorship, which would have made more money for you, or some other stuff like that. So I don't ever buy these "it wasn't for money" thing. Like, you're still benefiting in some uh, short term, short term or long term capacity. Like, let's not behave as if all our actions are altruistic or artistic or beyond defining. Like, no, shut the fuck up. You're a human, you have certain needs, you try to meet those needs. None of us are above our needs unless we're millionaires with all our things taken care of, and we just have the whimsical whims.
no, you make a very good point. So this is what she said on Twitter. It's not Twitter, sorry, on Instagram. And she said she live streamed the birth to the community that she's been streaming to for 10 years. She's grateful. She wants to address a few things that people said. And she was like, look, there are tons of births that have been documented. This is no different from the thousands of births that have been documented. This was just done in a live format. It showed the ugly parts, the not so pleasant parts, like the screaming and all of that stuff. She said it was one of the hardest things she ever had to do. She said she was a low risk pregnancy, so that's why, she did it at home. But there was a plan in place to get them to the hospital if anything happened. She said she had a midwife and nurse, and they did your job for over 20 years. Then she went on to say she didn't do it for the money because they didn't ask for subs. They didn't make any sub goals or donation goals. They didn't ask for bids. They didn't have. She said she wasn't sure if she had alerts on. She said ads were lower to the minimal levels like they always are. And she said, this is not going to be everyday content. It wasn't about building a new audience. And then she said that she said, and I quote, lastly, I posted this in my Discord to my community, which I realize most of you aren't a part of. I'll also announce it here. I've deactivated my OnlyFans as of today. I started my content creation journey 10 years ago as just a streamer, and that's what I'm going to be from. That's what I'm going to just be from now on. My next arc starts now. Wino arc. Thanks for being a part of the journey, end quote. So,
she had an OnlyFans account.
Yes, that was news to me too. And I think this is her second child. I could be wrong though. Her second birth.
Bruh, if she genuinely had an OnlyFans account? It's not one of those accounts which are just sitting there or just there for just sake. She's gonna go back to OnlyFans, and the reason I'm saying that is because you don't just shut down a source of revenue and be like, yeah, that's it, I've had an epiphany or I had an opening of mind. Nah, like, again, we are money-driven creatures. You're not going to cut off a source of revenue without replacing it with something else. So if there's nothing else that pops up, she's going to reopen it.
Okay, we'll see what happens. I think
I give her a maximum 6 months.
Okay, we'll check back in 6 months with Fandy. But yes, congratulations to her. Her husband, I think his name is Adam, yes. And then she was surrounded by, some friends in the same room as well. So congratulations to her, them, and the baby Luna Rose, who was born at 2:45 a.m. October 8th at 8 pounds 1 ounce. And yeah, and the last bit of news, I wasn't really going to speak about it because it's a small thing. But anyway, Moist Critical has announced that he is turning off or trying to turn off all ways to donate money to him. He says he doesn't feel comfortable. For the longest time, he never really felt comfortable with people donating money to him. So he's now doing it, he's like saying, okay, now, so he's turned off memberships on YouTube. He's turned off donations on Twitch, but then apparently you can't turn off subs on Twitch because without going through hoops, and he's been trying to do it and he's still trying to do it. But you can't, once you become a partner, you can't really turn off subs because Twitch takes a cut of those subs. So you can't really say, hey, so he's still trying to see if he can get his way out of that. But he's just urged people, look, just don't donate to me or don't give me subs.
Can you control the subs thing? Can you control a limit on how much people can give, or that's out of your control?
No, a sub is a set price. A subscription is a set price.
Yeah, so can you control the subscription for your channel page or no?
No. Not that I know. There are different tiers of subs, but
because I thought it might be a thing of like Twitch gets 20%, so it's like, okay, whatever you can choose whatever the number you want, but just know that keep in mind 20% of it is going to go to us, so you can't set any number lower than, let's say, 20 cents.
You think it's 20, but it's not. Remember, it's 50-50.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, we're talking about, it was a long time ago, so I don't expect you to remember, but Tommy, you and I were talking about it on one of the podcast episodes about how Twitch changed it to 50-50. It used to be 70-30, but then they changed it to 50-50, and people were in uproar about that. But anyway, but yeah, that's pretty much all the content creator woo-ha-ha I have. What about you, Maxwell?
It's called a brouhaha.
No, it's not.
Yeah, content creator brouhaha.
No, brouhaha is a phrase. It's a term for what's it called? Commotion or
content creation commotion.
It's brouhaha, Maxwell. Google it.
Are you sure? I'm under the impression it's just a ha.
It's brouhaha.
Anyway, we'll check after the fact. But no, I don't have anything.
Okay. Moving on to Ethboth. No, I spoke about the stuff with Tommy last week, so nothing really this week. And looks like that brings us to the end of the episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us. Maxwell, thank you for being here, early as it is. So yeah, guys, don't forget again to drop us a like, subscribe, and stick around for some more gaming tidbits in the coming weeks. Tommy will be with us next episode, hopefully. So yeah, thank you guys again once more, and we will see you all in the next episode. Peace out.